Hi there and welcome to WCMU's Quiz Central. Tonight, a Blue Division semifinal matchup featuring White Cloud and Onekama. So sit back and relax. It's time to play Quiz Central.
Support for Quiz Central is provided by the CMU Bookstore. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, Maroon and Gold memories, and an official outfitter of Adidas apparel at the Central Michigan University owned and operated CMU Bookstore. Online shopping 7 days a week at cmubookstore.com, on campus at the University Center, and game day locations at Kelly Short Stadium and the John G. Kulhalvi Event Center.
Good luck to both of our teams. Let's play Quiz Central.
Chopin.
Correct. All right, your next toss-up.
The lottery.
Right.
The Stranger.
You are correct. Traverse City Central hangs on. They are our season champions. Hi there, and thanks for tuning in to Quiz Central. I'm your host, Steve Smith. Tonight, a Blue Division semifinal matchup featuring White Cloud and Onekama. There are just a handful of teams left out of the 48 that started the Quiz Central season. The 4 divisions are based on the size of the school. Each division will have a champion, and one of those teams will become this season's overall winner. We have scholarships from Central Michigan University to give away, and Rick Westover has more on that.
The 4 starters and 3 alternates of the division championship teams will each receive a 2-year, $4,000 room and board scholarship from Central Michigan University Residence Life. In addition, 4 lucky Quiz Central seniors will receive textbook scholarships from the CMU Bookstore. And a special thanks to CMU Enrollment and Student Services, which provides lunch for our contestants and their traveling party.
All right, everybody, play along at home as we jump right into the action with the Maroon and Gold round. The Maroon and Gold round gives you 2 minutes to answer questions as quickly and correctly as you possibly can. If the team ringing in misses the question, the opposing team will have a chance to respond. There is no talking among team members, and correct answers are worth 10 points. Good luck to both of our teams. You've worked hard to get here. Let's play Quiz Central. What man who died in 1814 while James Madison's vice president partly names the practice of drawing political boundaries for partisan gain? Parker Whitecloud.
Jerry.
That's correct. After revealing that her much-discussed son is purely fictional, Martha replies, "I am George, I am," when asked the title question of what 1962 play? Janessa Whitecloud.
Are you afraid of Virginia Woolf?
No, I'm sorry, I can't peek that. Onekama? We'll find out. Little slip up there. All right, what first step of respiration breaks down 1 molecule of glucose into 2 molecules of pyruvate? Jackson Onekama.
Glycolysis.
That's correct. All right, about 5% of world currency reserves are in what official currency of Japan? That's the third. Parker Whitecloud?
Yen.
That's right. Which actor who played John McEnroe in 2017's Borg vs. McEnroe played Louis Stevens in Even Stevens and Sam Witwicky in the Transformers series? Allie Onekama.
Shia LaBeouf.
That's right. Livia was the 3rd wife of what Roman emperor who was succeeded after his death by Livia's son Tiberius? Parker Whitecloud.
Caligula.
Nope, I'm sorry, incorrect. Onekama. We'll come back to that one. Go ahead, Brianna.
Octavian.
You got it right. All right, nice job. What playwright of the master builder who wrote about the Niels Janessa Whitecloud?
Ibsen.
Yes, you are right. What substance, which was mined in the 19th century in Nevada's Comstock lode, has atomic Parker Whitecloud?
Gold.
Nope, I'm sorry, incorrect. I'll finish it. It has atomic number 47, and it's a transition metal with atomic symbol AG. Onekama. Brianna.
Silver.
That is correct. All right, next question. What Amazon series? We will stop right there. Let's go back. We actually only missed one question, and that was, who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Who's afraid? So, sorry about that, but a good round to get our action underway, and we get a chance now to get to know our contestants a little bit better. Hi there, Ryan. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I'm Ryan. I'm a freshman at Onekama, and I'm my class treasurer.
I'm Allie. I'm a senior at Onekama, and I participate in dance and theater.
I'm Jackson. I'm a senior at Onekama, and I'm on the golf team in NHS.
I'm Brianna. I'm a sophomore at Onekama. I am planning to major in wildlife biology.
All right, and their alternate is Colin Cook. They're coached by Matthew Lon. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And over to the other team, White Cloud. Hello there, Brendan.
Hello, I'm Brendan Loudon, and I enjoy going for walks in the woods.
Hi, I'm Parker Carnes. I'm a junior at White Cloud High School. My favorite song is Gourmet Race.
I'm Janessa Shepard. I'm a junior at White Cloud, and I play clarinet.
I'm Anthony Solis Vittoria. I'm a sophomore at White Cloud High School, and I run track and play football.
All right, nice to have you here. White Cloud brought quite a contingency with them. They also have alternates in Heather Grevels, Brianna Lawton, Zane Keith, and Malachi Graves. They're coached by Tony McCaddy, Stephen Smith, and Cordell Talbot. Let's give them a nice round of applause. All right, with our score 40-30, Onekama's favor, we're moving on with our game now in the kickoff round. The kickoff round is a combination of toss-up and bonus questions. The team that correctly answers a toss-up will be asked a bonus. Stumble on the bonus question, and we go to a toss-up question for both teams. Toss-up questions need an individual response, but team members can consult on the bonus questions. Captains, remember that the answers must come from you on the bonuses unless you defer to a colleague. Here is your first toss-up question. Ode to Aphrodite is the only complete extant poem by what ancient Greek woman who lived on the island of Lesbos? Ryan, Onekama.
Sappho.
That's correct, and here is a bonus. What author whose experience surviving a shipwreck inspired his story, The Open Boat, wrote about Henry Fleming in The Red Badge of Courage?
Pass.
That author is Stephen Crane. All right, back to both teams. The CIA's Project Rainbow was an attempt to make it harder to detect what spy plane which Gary Powers was flying when he was shot down over Russia. Parker, White Cloud.
Black Hawk.
Nope, I'm sorry, incorrect, Onekama. Answer was the Lockheed U-2. Next question. What country, where tourists may dive in a marine sinkhole called the Great Blue Hole, is a Central American nation whose capital is Belmopan? And that's Belize. Sorry, you rang in just a little late. Kevin Costner played the title character of what 1990 film about an American cavalry officer who joins a Plains Sioux tribe? Parker, White Cloud.
Dances with Wolves.
That's right. Here's your bonus. What North American river, whose source was found by Henry Schoolcraft to be Lake Itasca, had a basin claimed for France by Robert de La Salle?
Columbia. Columbia.
Nope, sorry, Mississippi.
Oh.
Next toss-up question. What diatomic ion that can be used to leach gold out of its ores is so toxic that it was commonly used in gas chambers for executions? Parker, White Cloud.
Carbon monoxide.
Nope, I'm sorry, incorrect. Onekama. Ryan.
Methane.
Nope, I'm sorry. Cyanide was the correct answer. All right, another toss-up. What singer asks, why men great till they gotta be great? Ryan, Onekama.
Lizzo.
That's right. All right, here's a bonus question for Onekama. The Popham Colony was a short-lived 17th century English settlement in what present-day state that separated from Massachusetts in 1820?
Rhode Island.
Nope, Maine. All right, both teams. What law whose namesake constant equals the product of constants named for Ludwig Boltzmann and Amadeo Avogadro states that PV equals nRT? And that's the ideal gas law. Sorry. Another toss-up question. John Dryden and Alexander Pope pioneered the heroic type of what rhyme form, which also follows the three AB stanzas? Parker, White Cloud.
Couplet.
That's right. Bonus question. The symbol of Madrid is a strawberry tree being eaten by what kind of animal, which is found on the flags of Warwickshire, Berlin, and California?
Bear.
That's right. All right, another toss-up. We'll wait until our next round there. All right, right now our score as we go into the break is all tied, 60-60 apiece. So we've got a good game going here. We will take a break and we'll change the pace up a little bit when we come back with the Perfect 10 round. So don't go away.
Preschool gives children the foundation they need to be successful in school and in life. But more than half of kids in the U.S. do not have the opportunity to attend a pre-K program, making them 25% more likely to drop out of school before graduation. The PBS Kids 24/7 channel provides quality programming, games, and hands-on activities that are proven to develop early learning skills.
When you say the word PBS, immediately quality comes to mind. And not just quality, but a massive cultural diversity. Everybody here in the United States gets a look at a global culture, which is phenomenally presented. What makes PBS so strong is that it is a product of the support of the public. It stands out as a public service. It reaches out and grabs a nation and it grabs a world, and I think that's wonderful.
All right, welcome back to the Perfect 10 round and Quiz Central. The Perfect 10 gives you 60 seconds to answer 10 questions from your choice of clues to 3 categories. The opposing team gets 30 seconds to tackle all unasked, missed, or passed questions. As we mentioned, we have a tied game, so we flipped a coin during the break. Onekama opted to go first. The clues to the categories are no taxonomy without representation, Tigers and Diamondbacks and Blue Jays, oh my, and the winner is no taxonomy without representation, Tigers and Diamondbacks and Blue Jays, oh my, and the winner is. Which one of those are you going to select?
I like the middle one.
Tigers, Diamondbacks, and Blue Jays.
All right, and your actual category is baseball teams. Give these terms used in baseball. Home run with the bases loaded.
Grand slam.
Right. Batter who can hit from either side of the plate.
Switch hitter.
Right. Single letter used to indicate a strikeout.
Okay.
Yep. Designated area where relief pitchers warm up.
Bullpen.
Right. Hyphenated term for a hit that immediately wins the game for the home team.
Walk off.
Yep. Pitch thrown with no spin.
Knuckleball.
Yep. 8-letter term for a left-handed pitcher.
Southpaw.
Yep. Common term for significant moves by fielders against certain hitters.
Shift.
Yep. An easy fly ball is called a can of this food.
Pass.
And dark wall beyond center field required for visibility purposes.
Pass.
All right, that gets us through the questions. So White Cloud, we have a couple left for you. Give these terms used in baseball. An easy fly ball is called a can of this food.
Yeah, worms.
Nope. Dark wall beyond center field required for visibility purposes.
It's not the green monster. Black wall?
Nope, I'm sorry. Batter's eye is actually what that screen is called there. And the easy fly ball is a can of corn. Okay, so we still have 2 categories left, and White Cloud, it is your choice. The remaining categories are no taxonomy without representation, and the winner is. Which one would you like?
And the winner is?
The winner is, okay. Awards is your actual category. Answer the following about major awards in various fields. Music award that resembles a phonograph.
John Philip Sousa Award?
Nope. Inventor who names prizes for peace, chemistry, and literature.
Nobel?
That's right. Film and TV awards given by the Hollywood Foreign Press.
No, it's not Grammy. Grammy?
Nope. Country that awards the Booker Prize for fiction.
United States?
Nope, sorry. Highest personal decoration in the U.S. military.
Medal of Honor?
Right. In 2018, Kendrick Lamar won this jury-awarded prize in music.
The Tony?
Nope. He names a prize for American humor awarded at the Kennedy Center.
Pulitzer?
Nope. Artistic discipline practiced by winners of the Pritzker Prize.
Pass.
Occupation of the figure depicted in MTV Video Music Awards.
DJ.
Nope. And we're out of time. All right, Onekama, lots of questions left here on the table. Answer the following about major awards in various fields. Music award that resembles a phonograph.
Grammy.
That's right. Film and TV awards given by the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Academy Awards.
Nope. Country that awards the Booker Prize for fiction.
Britain.
Yes, that is correct. In 2018, Kendrick Lamar won this jury-awarded prize in music.
Billboard.
Nope. He names a prize for American humor awarded at the Kennedy Center.
Pass.
Artistic discipline practiced by the winners of the Pritzker Prize, that's architecture. The occupation of the figure depicted in the MTV Video Music Awards is an astronaut. Industry that awards the James Beard Awards, that's the culinary industry. That would be Mark Twain, names a prize for American humor. Kendrick Lamar won the Pulitzer Prize, and the Film and TV Awards given by the Hollywood Foreign Press is the Golden Globe. So a tough category there, but we got through it. Good job by both teams. We now have a score of 160 to 80, Onekama's favor. And with that, we move right into the home stretch round. The home stretch round is another combination of toss-up and bonus questions. The team that gets a toss-up question right will be asked a bonus question. An incorrect answer on a bonus question will take us back to a toss-up question for both teams. Here is your first question. What hydrocarbon, which lends its name to a scale for the compressibility of fuels like gasoline, has the molecular formula C8H18? That's octane. Next toss-up question. What novel in which a young French girl named Adele Varens is tutored by the title character at Mr. Rochester's estate? Allie, Onekama?
Jane Eyre.
That's right. Here's your bonus. What Trojan prince and brother of Hector was asked to judge the fairest of these three goddesses?
Paris.
You are right. All right, both teams. What field marshal who won at Tannenberg in 1914 and ran a military dictatorship with Erich Ludendorff names a Zeppelin that caught fire in 1937? Parker Whitecloud.
Hindenburg.
That's right, bonus question. What author of the autobiography Speak Memory wrote about playwright Claire Quilty in a 1955 novel?
Stein.
Nope, Nabokov. Next toss-up question. What molecules produced by the decomposition of CFCs can be neutralized by antioxidants and are very reactive substances with unpaired electrons? Parker Whitecloud.
Metals.
Nope, I'm sorry. How about Onekama? Ryan?
Alkaline.
Nope, free radicals was your answer there. All right, Matthew Henson accompanied what American explorer on a 1909 expedition that controversially claimed to have been the first to reach the North Pole? Parker Whitecloud.
Amundsen.
Nope, I'm sorry, Onekama. Robert Peary was the explorer. Okay, in the Odyssey, Athena counsels Telemachus, well disguised as what man, whose name has come to denote an expert who aids a less experienced newcomer? Parker Whitecloud.
Instructor.
Nope, sorry, Onekama. Jackson?
Virtuoso.
Nope, mentor would be the correct answer. The Copper-Belt province is in the northern part of what sub-Saharan African country whose capital is Lusaka? Ryan, Onekama.
Chad.
Nope, sorry, Whitecloud. Janessa.
Zimbabwe.
No, I'm sorry, Zambia. Okay. What country is led by a striped sweater-wearing coca farmer named Evo Morales and is governed from La Paz? Parker Whitecloud.
Peru.
Nope, sorry, Onekama. Ryan.
Bolivia.
That's right, and a bonus for you. What class of substances, which includes many metal oxides, are capable of acting as either an acid or a base?
Alkaline.
Nope, I'm sorry, incorrect. Amphoteric was the actual answer. All right, what circuit components are used to separate currents in AC coupling and use a dielectric to increase the charge stored between two parallel plates? Ryan, Onekama.
Battery.
Nope, I'm sorry, Whitecloud. Parker?
Capacitor.
That's right, and a bonus for you. In September 2019, which OPEC member had half its oil production knocked offline by a drone attack for which Houthi rebels in Yemen claimed credit?
Any idea? Texaco?
Nope, Saudi Arabia was the country.
Wait.
Okay. In what state were railways destroyed by making neckties named for William Parker Whitecloud?
Georgia.
That's right, and another bonus. Oliver O. Howard led what government agency which was set up after the Civil War to provide education and other assistance to former slaves?
It's like the NCAAP.
Nope, I'm sorry. Freedmen's Bureau is what it was referred to. Okay, fast round there, and it's ready to go into final countdown. We have a score right now at that point of 190 to 110, Onekama's favor. So anything could happen. Don't go away. Final countdown is coming up next.
Our great state of Michigan is truly one of a kind. From the city streets to the small towns, you can see it all right here on Destination Michigan. We'll crisscross the state in search of the sights, the sounds, and of course the people that make Michigan the greatest state in the land. Take in the scenery, meet the people, and experience the wonder of the Great Lakes state. Come along with us as we share your stories on Destination Michigan.
Unlock your newest member benefit. Over 1,000 episodes of your favorite PBS shows. American Masters, Antiques Roadshow, Nature, Nova, Masterpiece. Watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere. Become a member, sign in, and start streaming today.
It all comes down to this, the Quiz Central Final Countdown. Another 2-minute rapid-fire round. The first player to ring in gets a shot at answering the question. If you get it wrong, we turn to the opposing team for a chance to answer. Good luck, both teams. Here you go. What character who owns a parrot fond of saying pieces of 8 is a one-legged cook who turns out to be a mutinous pirate, Brendan Whitecloud?
John Silver.
That's right. What letter appears in the upper left corner of most English language keyboards nearest the tab button? Parker Whitecloud.
Q.
That's right. What quantity measured in kilograms times meters per second squared or newtons? Ryan Onekama.
Orse.
That's right. Alfred is the alpha star in what relatively dim constellation? The longest and largest of the 88 official constellations. Anthony Whitecloud.
Orion.
Nope, sorry, Onekama. Ryan.
Draco.
Nope, sorry. We'll come back to that. What woman defied the orders of James F. Blake in December 1955, inspiring a boycott in Montgomery by refusing to give up her seat on a bus? Parker Whitecloud.
Rosa Parks.
Right. Beacon Hill is a historic neighborhood in what U.S. city whose black community was traditionally centered in Roxbury near Northeastern University? Parker Whitecloud.
New Orleans.
Nope, sorry. Onekama. Allie?
Harlem.
Nope, sorry. Another one we'll come back to. What series of novels named for an abbey includes Matameo and Martin the Warrior, whose title characters are mice, and was written by Brian Jakes? Your next question. The legendary Pied Piper led the children out of what German town? Brendan Whitecloud.
Hamlin.
That's right. What man who cast the deciding vote in the Senate against repealing Obamacare in 2017 was succeeded by John Kyle after dying of brain cancer in 2018? Parker Whitecloud.
McCain.
Yes. A light year of lead would stop about 50% of a beam of what particles which undergo flavor oscillations? Anthony Whitecloud.
Quarks.
Nope, sorry, Onekama. And we're out of time. Nobeka, you do get a chance to answer if you'd like. Nope, okay, the answer there was neutrinos. But that brings us to the end of our game here, and we are doing some quick tallying. Whitecloud, you made a run in that final round, but it wasn't enough. Onekama hangs on to win 200 to 160. Very exciting game. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And the questions that we missed there, the series of novels written by Brian Jakes was Redwall. A light year of lead would stop about 50% of neutrinos. Beacon Hill is a historic neighborhood in Boston. And Alphard is the alpha star in Hydra. So, again, a good game. What that means now is that Onekama will go on. You'll face Ross Common in the Blue Division Final Championship game, and that will be played on June 3rd. But again, a good game by both teams. Let's give them both a nice round of applause. Does it for this edition of Quiz Central. Until next time, like us on Facebook or watch your favorite game online as we feature the best and brightest high school students from around the state. Thanks for watching.
Support for Quiz Central is provided by the CMU Bookstore. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, Maroon and Gold memories, and an official outfitter of Adidas apparel at the Central Michigan University owned and operated CMU Bookstore. Online shopping 7 days a week at cmubookstore.com, on campus at the University Center, and game day locations at Kelly Short Stadium and the John G. Quilhalvy Event Center.